start the conversation here. You pop that on your shirt. Let me make sure that is good. Check. Cool.
I don't lose in a pool with a stick and I'm right on cue. No rules, this chick was a right on too. I gotta remember the words after that.
Yeah. It's right on two. I'm a light worker, baby. Fill them Cairo tubes, something like that.
Yeah, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, I guess you're probably really hearing it over and
I've
over.
listened to it. Yeah, but well, like the part that I'm unsure of is like I feel like I like your verses more than I like my own. But I don't know if that's just because but I want to like my own verses better.
No. Well, I'm glad you said that because like that really is if you don't feel that way after I write something, then I need to fucking.
Well, but that's how I feel towards myself now. Is like I gotta, and I almost don't know if it's just I've listened to my own stuff so much before yours came in, and now this is like, oh, this is fresh and it fits well.
And that's dope too, because like if you come in with the concept and someone fucking snaps, and you're like, oh, I'm finna take it there. Like that's a win all around, bro.
Yeah, and I've actually had that happen a couple times now. I remember somebody said on acid rap, their favorite thing about acid rap was that everybody used Chance's flow. Whatever Chance did on that song, people did their own variation of that. And I remember my friend, so you asked where when I popped out on the scene, I was just trying to produce for a friend of mine. Like I had a really close friend die when I was in college. I was going to school for business management, just like kind of didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
High school I did really well. High school was super easy. And then college I figured would be the same, and it wasn't. It was difficult because I didn't care what was going on. It's like busy classes. I had like 2 classes and I was like, oh, I'm paying attention here because this is actually interesting and I want to learn this stuff. Had a really close friend die and I was like, what am I putting myself in debt for if life is this fickle? And yeah, essentially it was like oh, I'm going
so
to
quickly.
Yes.
And I was the fucking home.
And every choice I make from here on out goes with me when I die.
And how old are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay, so 30. So that was
I was like 18. I was like 19. I think I was 19 when that happened. And so I just wanted to produce because I was already doing that. You can stay in the middle there. It's pretty far.
Yeah, nice wide lens. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at you. I think you're good there. I can actually move it over some if that's the case.
Is that carbonated?
Yeah. Sweet. I think that's good. I just wanted to produce for a friend of mine because at that point I took a year to figure out how to use Logic and build something that resembled a song. So I played guitar for 2 years in high school, stopped because I couldn't figure out how to write music because I was doing guitar tabs. And I could learn songs that way, but I couldn't play anything or create anything new, which was kind of the whole purpose. And when I couldn't do that, I was like, I'm gonna just stop this. Life took over, I was playing baseball, doing all this other stuff. And so
baseball.
I got Logic Pro. My friend showed me how to get a cracked version of Logic Pro on my MacBook that I got for like my early graduation present. And so I was like, oh, this is how you make music. And I spent a year just teaching myself how to like use it. And eventually, it was like a year before I got anything that resembled something like a song. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, I think I got this. And so I just started like
the measures.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these grids, the grids are like, they serve purpose. Yeah, and
it starts to make sense.
So I was doing that in school. I was like, I'd do my homework, I'd smoke, and then I would work on music. I would try to figure out music. That's like all I was doing essentially.
You know, mine, same. I'm 26.
Okay.
The difference is I knew my songwriting was going to get me there first. Download from my spirit. So I was like, just every day going to McDonald's, looking at the reptiles on the fucking news for inspiration. I just order a coffee and just be like, fuck these motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah.
I refuse to live this NPC life. Like I would microdose, go to McDonald's and drink some coffee.
To me, the reptile idea is fairly fresh. So you were like, you already...
It was when I started.
Or are you just calling that now at this point? Like it was kind of just
18, and then ever since then I look at Fox News. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, the reptiles. I would just look at Fox News and then go, shit just didn't look like it was
fake.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Is this motherfucker even real? Look at them dead ass eyes. Like you see anybody on the as a news anchor, they're just like, please kill me. Like
today.
Like CNN, it's like there's a small boy that's waiting to be born inside of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reptiles, shouts out.
Shouts
But
out.
I was there like just writing, and now I'm almost at a point where I guess within the next 4 years I'll get to buy my time back. Ideally, that's always been the plan, right? Get there with the songwriting, and then you hear of that artist that takes the year to just fucking learn how to produce, mix, master. I'm about to, I have Logic as well. I'm about to get, a C414, Apollo Twin X, some nice speakers and headphones, Melodyne, Pro Q, and fucking this crazy
C414 mic? What is the C414?
AKG C414.
Okay, it is a mic, okay.
And that's when I'm gonna dive into the pit and really learn how to mix and master my own shit. Because I could be able to, I could finish a song a day on some Rush shit. You know?
Yeah.
But that's cool that you were in that regard, like you were wanting to.
Well, that's all I did. I was just producing.
Beats.
Just producing, and for a friend of mine. But I didn't want to give my beats to just anybody. And we wrote some like joke songs when I was in high school. We actually did a parody. There was a kid who was a rapper, and we took Sharpie, and because he had tattoos and stuff, we took Sharpie, put it all over me, just like dumb stuff. It was this whole stupid high school thing that like ended up being. It kind of got big. Actually got really big at like 3,000 views in 3 days. I had teachers telling me to take it down because we did some stuff on school grounds, and it got like Moore has 3 high schools. I forget that this happened. Moore has 3 high schools, and somehow this whole thing, even though it was all just with Moore the original, it got this like all this drama going with all 3 high schools. And there's a Facebook post about it that somebody else did. We weren't even involved, but it was like after this video, it inspired it, and it got everybody like, we're gonna meet up at Grandy's to fight at lunch. Like we drove by, there was like 6 cops at Grandy's, and just insanity.
High school can get out of control quick.
Yes.
Like, I think honestly the ideal show audience would be like a bunch of like Jakes and Josh for a show of ours. There's a bunch of Jakes and Josh that are like 16 to 18, 14 to 18, just ready, just reckless. That's who I would want in the crowd singing fucking Cap. I'm just like this lonely lost boy that wants to find someone to turn up with him.
Sure, well that's
I've been doing all these empty shows, and as there's just like maybe every now and then you'll catch like one dude who's like, Cap!
Not afraid to let go. Yeah, that's what I'm realizing with the age there is like there's a certain point once you get older that's like the social element of like you can't do this in public because people are gonna think this about you, and everybody like puts on those social masks and stops having fun.
I felt that like especially in your city, bro. Like you're their competition. They don't. Well, of course they don't want to fuck with you because part of them is enjoying the art that they're processing, and then part of them is trying to get past you on the pecking order. And how I got past everybody on the pecking order was I didn't at all think about passing people on the pecking order. I just want to be friends. And then meanwhile they're like playing this weird game. I'm like, look, the game that you see, the game that I'm playing up there, I'm not playing no game behind it. The game is outproduce you, outproduce you when it comes to content, out-volume you to the point where you're like, we're not even playing the same game anymore.
But it didn't start. Oh man, there's so many different ways I want to take this. Did you grow up here?
Yeah, born and raised in Tulsa.
Okay. Did you ever move out, or have you been here the whole time? Okay.
Tulsa and Broken Arrow.
Okay.
Up until I went to Stillwater. Lived
for school, or just you just moved there?
Yeah, went to OSU.
How long?
That's why I wasn't
able to. Well, I guess it would have been after me. I went there that's where I was whenever my friend died. It was 2013. I was in Stillwater. I was supposed to. There's so many tangents happening right now.
I know. Yeah, I'm still supposed to tell you how my job is going.
We can go there. You were doing that because the idea for me, and I've played with different ideas as far as like what should I do for a job, for income, because ideally the goal is to get myself enough creative time to make this more full-time.
I did realize that too, bro. Like in my last journaling the last couple of weeks, I was like, what am I really doing this for? What am I really starting this social media company for? The answer was to make music full-time. Like that's really what I want to do.
Well, then can I ask you another question after that? But why do you even, I would take it one more step further, and why are you wanting to do that? This is where I've been lately, and it's got me slightly shifting my approach to all of this, because it's like, well, what is the goal? Because earlier you mentioned getting famous, but I would I wonder if that is the goal, or if there's something. Well, we also talked about
to
the
elevate
recognition.
human consciousness.
Yeah, and so
I
like,
think
how do you do influences? How you do that? And
But there's nothing more powerful than a room of people subject to your message with loud vibrations, sonic vibrations.
Yeah, waves.
You can shift mass consciousness there. Like you think about now how you're gonna shift it is up to you, because for me, I'm gonna, sing a love song to my, do a conscious hip hop intro, sing a love song to my wife, scream set the world on fucking fire, then have everybody meditate for 5 minutes. And they fuck with me, because when I'm the headline, I'd ask myself, what do I want people walking away from an Aaron Sawyer show saying? I want them to say, damn, I want to be a better person tomorrow. Like, I want to wake up and just fucking get after it.
feel recharged.
Yeah, like I want them to walk away saying, I want to be better. I want to do better. I just saw this guy for his 29th tour date or whatever just scream on the floor, scream and set the world on fucking fire, and then we all meditated. Like, weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I want to be like that guy. If he's got that much energy, then I want to take a spark of that, and I just give people moments they'll never forget. But it's all with that back facet. That's why I'm funneling people into men's groups and detoxes and stuff.
Sure,
because
it's all about everybody better. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, same situation. That's what, even with the producing thing, I was being very selective about who I gave beats to, and essentially it was just one friend of mine. I moved to Texas to work on music with him, and I moved into his mom's house. We were supposed to get an apartment. This is some divine aligning, where the day we found, we were like, okay, this is the apartment we're gonna do, because I had like 2 months to get that apartment. Went back and started like making sure the budget and everything was gonna make sense. He went to go do something, gives me a call and is like, hey, can you come get me so-and-so? I just totaled my car. Totaled his car, so the whole idea of the apartment completely gets a wrench thrown in it. I end up staying at his mom's house when she had a nice house and like had room. She loved me. She was fine with it.
Dope.
But it wasn't the way things were supposed to go, and so I stayed there for like a year and a half, and it would have been a completely different path had that not happened. We just kind of ended up going our own ways, because
So we're gonna go ahead and get our open mic started.
I'm about to do this, and then let's get outside and finish it up. Songs? Oh yeah? Yeah, I got a show on Sunday. Wanted to groovy. Try no! Yeah. Good to see you, man. This is it, bro.
yeah. All right, you got mic on?
Yeah,
Cool.
mic check, microphone checker. Just want to say, shout out to Justin, bro.
No, shout out to you, bro.
Sound grind soul. It's definitely gonna make it.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
It's too solid not to.
Thank you. We can do an actual intro this time, so thanks for doing this.
Yes.
Because we started the conversation. We started like mid-conversation in there earlier.
Yes,
so
we did.
This is the halfway through 2024 check-in. It's crazy. I was thinking about when we coming up here to do the content, I was like, or to do the video stuff, I was like, dude, we should do, because we did, that was like January 24th Past the Aux. And it was like, what are your goals for 2024? Like, what do you hope to accomplish this year?
Mm-hmm.
And
that was a pivotal day too.
dude, yeah. Well, for you especially.
Yeah.
Like,
what was your answer whenever they asked, like, what you wanted to accomplish this year?
My answer, so it's funny, I got that question from my aunt. She asked us like around New Year's that day, or that year, that month. And my answer was to be more consistent and to keep improving in the things that I'm doing. And so just to keep music coming out, because I was already putting music out at the time. I wanted to put out more music, be more consistent. I wanted to have my video stuff kind of improve, and this is an element of that. These are an element of that too, like the ability to, or something that gives me the ability to kind of improve the quality.
Yeah, like elevate others and you'll be elevated, or humble yourself and you'll be exalted.
Sure. Well, that is a different element of it in general. That was like for that day, the Pass the Aux was kind of weird because I was like, do I take this camera and present myself almost, because the first time I went to Pass the Aux was I was playing music in one of the studios, and I had to follow up Chloe Hart.
Chloe Hart?
Yeah, she's dope. But
Yeah,
like
she is dope.
you played first in that studio, and it was like, oh, that's hard. And then Mitra played, and I was like, damn, that's really good too. And I came in like so confident. I was like, I got some, like nobody's gonna be messing with this, because what I had heard from the state up until that point was not that great. And so you came on, I was like, yo, that's dope, because you played something off of Halo. Mitra played something.
Nevermind. Bro.
Yeah, and then some other people played. And it was
Mitra
cool.
fucking killed it.
She did. She was great. And some other people played. I forget, Squadron was a producer that played. He was hard. And then Chloe came up, and that, like, other people had been impressive, but all of a sudden everybody in the studio was just kind of like vibing. Like everybody had a little bop, like a little dance to it. It was the first one that like everybody was kind of moving, and it was like, yeah, this is
you could just get you tapping into yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, like. I bring that masculine, like, it's very external thing.
Sure,
in your
yeah.
face where
Yeah.
something that makes you go in. It's like, so what was that? What was your follow-up experience?
It was not good. It was tough because I just instantly knew. I was like, man, this is such a vibe switch. Just because it was like it went from this like jazz, R&B, soulful music to I'm about to play kind of like a more like Lil Baby type of rap song in a sense, and it was cool. Like it wasn't bad. The part that was kind of rough was the dude who was like the engineer in the room. He wanted to look and see a part. There was a part where he was gonna like critique something, which was a good critique, and he went to like look at it and he paused it right after the second hook. So it was like the first song that got stopped mid-play. And it was also following that up, and I was like, God, like, it was rough, bro.
So he ran it back, and
he ran it back, but not like because like, yo, this is like you killed that. It was more of like, hey, this needs to get fixed, and it did. It did. So it was a timing thing, and I'm glad he said it because I knew as I was recording it, I was like, something is off about this. It was the end of a verse right into the hook. And it was my timing was just a little bit off because the drums were out and everything was kind of out, and I came too fast there, and it was like I ended too early and didn't flow right in because he was like, everybody's gonna be at the sub like ready to.
Fast,
as soon as I said it, I was like,
even in the musical sense, it took me 2 years of performing to like Kara, who I'm doing a show with on Sunday. Whenever we started performing, she'd been in she's like 33 or something, and like. Yeah. She was like, "You're too ahead of the beat. Mm-hmm. You're too ahead of the beat. Yeah. Too ahead of the beat." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. And then just fucking not listening. Yeah. Like I didn't find the pocket until like year number 3, I think.
It's hard because you want to get to that spot and then be there, and then, like he was saying, like everybody's gonna want to like mosh for this part, and then it's just you're ended too early there, and so. It was a good critique because I knew when I was listening to it, I was like, something feels a little off here, but everything else about the song was good enough where I was like, doesn't matter. Like maybe it's just that part, something about it. And when he said that, I was like, okay, thank you. Like I knew something was there, and it made me go back. And I don't like to. This is kind of a personal element of recording, but I don't like to record with the metronome. Like I used to have this idea I was gonna have a mixtape called "Fuck the Metronome," because I would always start recording in the metronome. I'd just be like, no, I want to find the pocket without the. And so there was like a long-standing idea of fuck the metronome.
It was a long battle of me versus the metronome. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's useful. But
for that, it was very useful.
Times where there's not a lot of instruments, like bridges and stuff, I have to I'm like, where the fuck? Like Chasing Dopamine, that bridge. All I wanted was a blueprint I could follow. Right? I'm like, I could not find that without the metronome recording it. And then of course, once you rep it out enough, you're just so deep in the pocket that it doesn't even matter because you can just like feel it out.
When you can play with that, what is that called? There's a word for it. Damn, I can't remember. The drummers are really good at it, especially like John Bellion's a really good producer that's so good at finding the pocket, like kind of leaving a little bit of. I cannot believe I can't remember this word. There's actually a slide for it in Logic. You have like quantize, and then right under it, there's a slide for this. I can't think of what it's called, but it's like you extend, you hold off instead of hitting right on the grid or right on the count, you like a little bit afterwards.
Fucking extendo. Someone who's watching this, help us out.
No, it's such a simple. I'm so mad I can't think of what it's called. I can literally pull my laptop out and find it like
okay,
15 seconds.
So your takeaway, what do you like on the drive home? Because
okay. What is the takeaway?
That's one question at a time.
It was the takeaway from the first one was I was so impressed by so many people. Like I said last time, it was like you and Mitra especially I was like, wow. Chloe was great as well, and it just in general it was like it was so much better than what I was expecting. Granted, what I was expecting was like to blow everybody's minds away, but that didn't necessarily happen. But it was, in the long run, it was such a better thing because what I came back from was there are so many talented people there that have the potential to make it that won't. Why? Like, what is gonna separate the people who are here and actually make it from those who don't? Because statistically speaking, most of those people are not gonna achieve their dreams. And everybody there is talented, everybody there is hungry, but what sets you apart? And that question alone, I think, was probably the biggest thing I came away from, because it really made me question, like, what is that gonna be? I think it's perseverance. I think it's people figuring out how to be themselves online too. Like those are two complete different realms, but there's a lot of different pillars that can lead to that success.
I would say discipline and consistency, or like an early wake up time. Like I think motherfuckers
dude.
Wake up early. I figured that one out, like, you know, and I've battled that. I'm sure we all have, dude. Like, you know, like, but I realized, like, okay, there's a common theme. Like, whenever you start studying successful people and reading the spiritual books and just doing your studies, doing your due diligence, you fucking realize, like, okay, well, CEOs are waking up at 4 a.m., you know, and like it took me 7 years to become that guy, and I'm still like out here like drinking coffee, smoking weed sometimes. You know, I don't want to be smoking weed, but then I'm like, oh, the old pattern,
right?
Numb me. But then I'm like, my tummy hurts and I feel kind of dumb.
Well, it's like a rut. It's like a rut to me, those patterns, like you know, riding dirt bikes and stuff like that. Like there's a track that everybody's tires have gone into, and it creates this hole that so easy if you get on the edge of that, you slip right into it. And it's like, if you know, okay, I want to take a different path, you can take a completely different path. But what I found is every time I get close to that and I think I'm good, I don't need to worry about, I've got that beat, and I start to get edged closer to it, it's like right back into it. And
it's crazy. Like, all it takes is one time back, and then before you know it, the snowball effect starts.
A week,
like,
2 weeks.
Damn, it just took me off this, you know, and took me on this whole journey, you know, like me smoking heavy from, I'd say, like, really like February to April, came to a head early May, to where I caught this fucking weird head cold in Denver, Colorado, ate an edible, forgot my verse, and I never forget shit. I had a panic attack at the OCD Game Changers in Denver.
I saw you post about that, but I didn't know that.
I didn't, and I should post footage of it just to let people know I'm human.
Sure.
Like, fucking had a panic attack or anxiety attack, and then like I had to ask the DJ how to run it back, but he doesn't play it from the beginning. He plays it from the fucking middle of the track, and I'm hella lost. And then I caught like the last 8 bars in a sad, aggressive state, and everyone was like, I don't know if you planned that or what. Like, they were like, wow, that's a perfect example of what a man with OCD looks like. Great job.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
art.
I did not try to do that, you know. And then I realized, like, I gotta put the fucking weed down, bro. Like, you know, like, I can tolerate a lot, but forgetting my lyrics, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was a rap battle. Thank God it was in the room full of therapists and not the fucking legitimate.
It's okay. Yeah.
But that also, I think, affected my performance in the legitimate battle, just because, like, I promised myself, you know, like January, I knew I was gonna be coming in, like, you know, just disciplined, and that was the plan going into 2024. And then you realize, like, those old ruts, those old treaded patterns, like, fuck, I still have this shit.
What's interesting?
And then, you know, like, I could tell it was 5-minute rounds against legitimate, 3 5-minute rounds. So it's just like, which really means 8 minutes of 8-minute rounds when you're performing it. So 5 minutes written, 8 minutes of performance.
Really?
Yeah, insane. Because like when they say 3 minutes, it means like 6. because you got to run it back and you got to wait for for punches landing. There's all this time in between in battle rap,
I said.
Yeah, totally different tempo, and I thought Legitimate was gonna gas out. I was working on my fitness, not as much as I should have. Should have been doing the fucking cardio running those rounds. Because he was actually taking breaths and I thought he was just gonna rap until he gassed. Yeah, he was pacing himself really well. And then he was talking like this whenever he was pacing himself and breathing really low, and I hadn't seen him do that before, because usually he's just like this, and then he gasses out. And so I had made some deadly assumptions that he was gonna gas out, and I fucking was jogging to the finish line in the third, got wiped. I wiped the fuck out in that third round. So that taught me sprinting to the finish line.
Well, also don't schedule, I don't know how easy this is with rap battles, but the worst thing that happens to the best teams in sports is they play to the level of their opponent versus playing to the level of their capability. And so being able to just know I'm holding myself accountable to this level regardless of who I'm against, do that and not worry about, I'm going against this guy, I can kind of
and that's the thing, if I would have actually played to his level, I would have had to, in the third round, he's going in, and I'm just smiling because I just love the way that he's rapping. I'm just love battle rapping.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is great.
I'm this is definitely an L. As soon as I I don't know if people will see it on camera, but if you were there, there was the homie Headache got stabbed, and then took a selfie in the hospital and was just got stabbed, LOL, we got him or whatever. And I completely thought nothing of it. I was so confident in this line that I put it up to the top in the beginning of the third. I was I'm deep as some shit and you bet it's my bag. If you pulled the knife out and stuck me, I'd laugh it off in your face the night my boy Headache got stabbed. Dead silence, bro. I immediately knew I lost the third round. Because the Headache's looking there reliving his fucking stabbing moment, and I'm damn, I thought he'd be yeah, and then Ice Cold, who I battled in August, had to come to my defense, and I was talking all this shit to Ice about Mutt before, and now we fucking battle. It's it's never ending. But I was and me and Headache are cool. I when I battled Danny Myers, we drove up to Iowa together and shit.
Is that where you did that at?
Yeah.
Was it in Iowa?
Iowa. Wow. Danny's from California. It was the only battle that happened that day. 10 battles were booked, and it was the only battle that
just because nobody else showed up? Was it? It was a battle rap event.
10 cards, bro. Wow. But yeah, that your Past the Aux experience. I think my regret about Past the Aux was I don't regret it at all, I guess, but something
what
I could have done differently. Yeah, I didn't hang out in any of the studios. I was
were moving.
Skip the line, pop, pop.
Yeah.
All 3 studios and then a performance. And then the same thing whenever they hit me with something, when something dope hit me and was yo, I want you to battle my wand. The regret there was that I took it like a corporate battle because I didn't want to piss anybody off. I still took them to Afghanistan and shit, but there's, me, there's stuff that I could have gone those further. Yeah. So my thing there is it did what it was supposed to do, but I'm about to, it opened the door too, crazy.
Sure.
That was the most pressure. That was so not fun the second time. I was I'd smoked weed that morning, and then I was weed hungover, and then I took a little bit of some mushrooms, and then that first fucking song that I was playing, I was waiting for my wife who was in the bathroom, and everyone's yo, what the fuck are we waiting for? And then my wife comes in hey, and I'm bitch, get the fuck over here.
She's oblivious to
I'm already pressure on 10, I gotta perform, and I'm performing a song.
You got the battle rap.
I got the battle, I'm doing 3 different studios,
Yeah.
It was still chill, but it was not chill. It was anything but chill.
Yeah.
But and it worked out fine, but that showed me damn, what would it be if I was just there vibing and networking? But that's not the type of time that I'm on right now, because it was you need to fucking open this door. Don't say anything to fucking piss them off.
Play it
but
safe.
Also be hilarious and be yourself and shit.
Yeah.
But I'd have really gone in, because I think that's what I would do differently, is I would have gone all the way the fuck in and just spaz.
Play to win instead of playing to not lose.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point, play to fucking win.
Yeah.
But in the battle world, sometimes that means going for the throat, and I've put the fucking knife back in the holster. this one dude that I was gonna battle, I found an old Facebook photo of him where he's butt naked and his homie's taking a picture of him, like while his ass cheeks to the camera, he's facing the urinal and his homie's laughing. I thought about it going up to the battle. Like I had a rebuttal planned, and I was gonna show that picture onto the camera, fucking end his career, right? But I kept that back in the motherfucking tuck.
See, I couldn't do battle rap, bro. I just couldn't because of the things like that. Like I'm like, man, I'll go easy on you this time.
And I lost that battle, but I also told him after the battle, like, hey man, you got to delete this photo off of Facebook.
Good for you,
You know, and that's like a karmic thing. He ended up making the first design for my Guacadoodle-Doo t-shirt. Nice. I've come out, you know what I mean? He would not have done that if I'd have fucking ended his career,
No, he'd be mortal enemy.
Bro, but that first Something Dope was really good too, because that showed me like, oh damn, I'm like, people had already known me from the battle rap stuff.
And from that reel that went viral. I remember that conversation. They're like the honey butter guy. Yeah. And what's funny is I think I had already followed you, but it wasn't from that. It was from something else that had gone on at that time. Another video's music. I think it was you and what's your girl's name? Rebel, yeah. It was you and Rebel, or it was like maybe it was her song and your verse on that. And I saw it and I was like, what is this? And this is interesting. And I saw you guys were from Tulsa, and I was like, oh, give it a follow. And then just because I'm trying to keep up with everybody here, because to your point of the competition element back inside, which is just a completely different tangent, but like I'm super competitive in that realm too, but I go back and forth between like you have to make it online first and then everybody here will appreciate it, versus if you can build something cool here and then take that, like that's the way to do it. There are many ways to the top of the mountain is the truth. And
but that's true. Like I had to climb up the white boy ranks, bro. This shit don't happen overnight. I'm 20. When I turned 21, I could finally start performing in the clubs and the bars, and like I'd pull up to like the Juice Makers Lounge, which I think is closed now, and like my flip flops and a jug of water with a backpack with, security guard checks my backpack, and he sees Rumi, the book of or the like basically a Rumi book like of his like most scandalous poems, poems that he got kicked out of the city for.
I don't know who Rumi is.
Rumi's an ancient Sufi poet from like, that motherfucker real old, like 1100 AD or something.
Wow.
Like, and so they like a lot of it, they retranslated it, definitely like on some like prophet vibes. I think he just got enlightened. So story has it, he got enlightened and just started channeling and just didn't stop, and people, like a team formed around him and was like, fuck yeah, we're gonna, scribe this out. But the security guard opens my backpack up and sees Rumi in an orange in a jug of water, and he's like, dude, I'm not gonna go and pat you down, bro. I want to talk to you. I have questions, And I'm like, I'm here to rap. You know what I mean? And then learning those, I had some good people that, gave me some good advice in the beginning, but that came from being that kind of, I wouldn't say cocky white boy, but just like I knew that, and I was sheltered my whole life. So, from 0 to 18, I'm living a rich, white, privileged suburban boy life, and then 18 to 22, I go to college, experiment with acid, and think I'm Jesus for a little bit, and then fucking come back to earth, and I'm like trying to be a rapper now, and I realized I was going into some dangerous territory, and I didn't know what was there, so my MO was mind your fucking business. Go to the club and I would start writing
like
to
psychologically, or when you say dangerous,
like I just knew that if I was gonna, I had made the decision when I was like 18, 19, took some acid, thought I was Jimi Hendrix. Right after I took some acid, thought I was Jesus, and then I was like,
you were writing music and poems already at the time.
I started slam poetry when I was 17.
Okay.
My first performing gig. So I'm coming up on a decade, and I realized I was like, my job is to bring color into this world, something that a 19-year-old on acid would say. And then But coming through, I didn't want to like step on any toes, so I just mind my fucking business and was writing, you know, freestyle verses to whatever beat was playing. I would try to catch the tempo, and then I'd rap. Sometimes they wouldn't let me perform. I'd get there at 9 p.m. and wait till 2 a.m. to perform.
And you just wouldn't make it?
I mean, it's not that I wasn't on the list, it's just that I can't perform. And most of that's why I'm talking about climbing through the white boy ranks, bro, because most of the white boys are like, man, God, fucking everyone's prejudiced, and I'm like, I'll be back next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, then beyond that,
we'll give you a chance.
Yeah, because you gotta somehow vet the fucking pecking order and see who's solid, especially if it's your shit. Like it's not my stage, you know. And so, do I agree with it? No, but like it happened, and I took it on the chin and showed up next week, and then all of a sudden I'm fucking there the next week. Then we're building relationships with the guys, and like realize I'm a solid dude, and stayed that way. And that was a lot of the come up, was not taking things so seriously that it knocked me out of my focus or knocked me off my path. And like, oh man, they're hating on me. They're not fucking giving me the opportunities. Shut the fuck up and write a fucking song.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Or create the opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I had something recently that was like that. I felt like I kind of got slighted, and then I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I was getting opportunities, and I was showing up, I was being helpful, and I was doing everything that I possibly could with those opportunities, and it started to make me feel entitled to more of those opportunities, and it didn't come, and I felt the type of way, because it was like, I know it's not because I'm not helping, because I know I'm helping here, but that just means that my music's not good enough or something, or this, like, and my brain started going into all these other ways of to, like, why I got slighted,
or they don't want
or just didn't fit the vibe,
because it's too good, or
could be that too. Like that's a much more positive way to take it, and
you're a threat.
Yeah, and that's true too. I'm more I have a higher proclivity to go negative. My brain does, so that's kind of where it went.
The vibe I'm picking up is like, they're like, he's good. Too good.
Sure. Yeah, and it could have been that, but either way, I felt a way about it, and I kind of afterwards, I was like, man, don't take it personal. For one, you don't know like what specifically they were going for, and maybe it wouldn't have fit the vibe. And what happened instead was actually a better opportunity for me, and I actually got paid for something versus I would have had to pay for this opportunity. And so it felt like God was like, relax, keep doing what you're doing, you're good. And so it was cool, but it was like, I definitely can relate to the people, like when it's easy to take things personal. And I remember at the time of the past, I was in a relationship, and her grandparents were talking about some stuff, and we were like, what's the best advice you could give us? And they were like, don't take anything personal. And it's just so easy to, whenever you start having personal relationships with people, when something happens, it's so easy to be like, oh, why you did that to me because of this, or you did that to me. You just write your own feelings into it, and it might not be the case at all. And so it's just, you just do yourself a lot of disservice if you take it personal. Like with what you're doing there, instead of taking it personal, you're like, all right, I'm gonna be here anyways. All right, I'm gonna be here anyways.
It's fucking harder to do too, because like okay, achieving 25. You know, this time last year I had 2,000 something followers, right?
Well,
and then a year later, I got 25,000 followers and like tens of millions of views on shit. I guess almost, or it doesn't matter. Now it's like, how do I still not feel entitled to opportunities? Because that's the trick that people fall into, is like on some like, because I did put the work in. I do probably deserve it, but I can't expect it. Take it personal. Like I can't expect opportunities, and so like it's almost a weird trap though, because like I'm still like, I damn near might be addicted to paying battle rappers to battle. It's like, when the fuck am I gonna get fucking paid to battle? I got to have all the metrics, you know what I mean? It's like, am I that bad at setting the price? You know what I mean? It's like, if I didn't pay money for it, then I don't think I've earned it. It's like, dude, I've put almost 100K, probably over 100 grand overhead in the last like 5 years off of fucking DoorDasher's budget, and fucking just everything that I have has gone straight back into it in some way, shape, or form. And so, but you still can't feel slighted if, I don't know, bro. I feel like people might try to fuck me over though. So, you know what I mean? Like Mers gave some really good advice. Man, you should pull up for Ground Waves and then sign up for a mentor session.
What is that?
Groundwaves, Murs, the West Coast hip hop artist. He's gone platinum before, I think, and just like crazy success. West Coast legend. Like, there's this open mic at the Skyline Mansion in Tulsa on Thursday evening, and then there's a mentorship session the next day, like free of charge. You pull up at a coffee shop and chop it up about the music game.
Nice.
And he gives good tips and pointers based on where you're at. He told me not to get offended with, doing good, man. He told me not to get offended with, you know, other artists trying to use me. Or like using, like,
because you're using
what it is.
Yeah.
When they take you on tour or
you're
whatever
useful.
it is.
Like that's a pro. It's way better to be useful. Israel Adesanya is a UFC fighter. He said something about that. He's like, I don't mind being used in the context of like being like for the UFC as a company using him as a face or anything like that. Or he said, I don't mind being used because it means I'm useful. Like I have use here, and it's way better to be of use than to not be. You know, be useless. And so,
and it's also like, I think with the artists, because I feel like that's going to be my next foot in the door, at least for the music. The battles are there, like battle Danny Myers, battling A Ward, and the battle rap pecking order. I'm fucking about to be one of those dudes, especially whenever, because I know how to promote myself, right? Like,
I don't know enough. I know hardly anything about battle rap to know if it's even like a viable career in a sense. Like if you can make income from that, because it's crazy. Because like you're paying to participate in it, and so I can see at another point where people would pay to participate with you in it.
Bro, that's why I'm paying this next battler a couple bands, because like I'm asking him, like, okay, what's the price
adding
for
to the
3
resume?
rounds, 2 minutes? Like, nothing crazy, a couple bands. And I'm like, nothing crazy, a couple bands?
Yeah.
Well, damn, if I pay you a couple bands for this, thank God we can split up payments. If I pay you a couple bands for this, then that means that's my foot in the door to become the guy.
That's somebody else.
Where people hit me up, yo, what's it take
Couple
to battle?
bands.
Nothing crazy, a couple bands.
Yeah.
And that's rent money. That's on top of the social media company I'm building, or the social media management, the strategy. Like, all this stuff is gonna come to fruition whenever that fucking, table turns. It's gonna be like, okay, now I'm the guy. That's what this whole fight has been. Should title this thing "The Fight to Be the Guy."
Yeah.
It literally is like
the fight to be him.
That's what passed. Yeah, the fight to be him, bro. The past the aux. I skipped the line. Played my music in every studio. Shook. I already knew who to talk to. I did the research beforehand. Talked to
Do
him,
you
got
think
video footage.
that was so? You said like the first one, you felt like the first Past the Aux was better than the second Past the Aux. Do you think the second time it was worth it?
Oh yeah, because the second one I battled my one who's the fucking
but
marketing director
you wouldn't
at
have had
Dash
to pay
Radio.
for that because they wanted to do that, right?
Yeah, I didn't have to.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the past, I'm asking about like the skip line stuff. Like, do you think that was actually worth it? Because to me, going the second, because I got a schedule. People are waiting on me, like that kind of thing. The first time, like I paid to play in one studio. I did that, and then I kind of went with the flow. Just started listening. Good eye on that. Yeah, I don't know where we were
Is it a temp
at.
thing or temperature?
No, it stops at 30 minutes.
Why the
like
fuck
29.
did this camera stop at 30 minutes? My son does the same thing.
It's very irritating.
Right. Stay positive, folks. Can't record over 30 minutes. Like, what are we gonna, like, what?
I don't know. It stopped me from doing. There's some things that maybe it's just to save the battery because like somebody's gonna leave it on and then like I have 4 hours of absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That's probably why they started that rule anyways. It's like, dude, you don't need more than 30 minutes.
Yeah,
You're like, but I do. And they're like, no, you don't. You're going to fry your chip. Oh, man. Dude.
But do you think it was worth it? Do you think that the Past the Aux, skip the line,
it's for stuff like I might not in the grand scheme think that it's worth it, but then you got things like playing, I forgot what that engineer's name is that produced for Ski Mask. His name's slipping.
You talking about with the curly hair, long curly hair?
No, the dreads, like the dreads.
Dreads. Oh man, not.
I remember his name, but like playing him set the world on fucking fire. Knowing beforehand, this dude produced or engineered for Ski Mask. He's really in the game like that. Let me go just blow the roof off the fucking place with set the world on fucking fire. Yeah. That shit, you can't put a price tag on that. But
are you talking about Icy Chill Out? Icy Chill Out? No, it's the other dude. I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
Starts with a G or a J. I cannot remember.
Even chopping it up with is it GQ?
Yeah, GQ.
You know, like Sauce Me Up GQ. Like he was in the room when I put Set the World on Fucking Fire. Like you still want to get those looks.
Sure.
You can't like beat yourself up for the pressure you put on yourself when you put yourself through pressure. Motherfucker, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You're the guy.
Well, you want to be the guy, and it's gonna take that pressure.
And it takes being able to memorize 6 minutes of battles to be the guy. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't, unfortunately, man. You'll find one. You'll be good. But like it costs to be the guy, and sometimes that causes an immense amount of pressure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have it any other way, because now what happens when I go to LA, my one, like, Rebel got invited to perform at Thop Fest, which is Merz's music festival in Ontario, California. I performed there 2 years ago. And so now I can hit my wand on some like, yo, hey, we're gonna make this, we're getting married September 14th. We're gonna be out in Cali performing.
Yeah.
Do you have anything going on that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Do you have an LA past the Hawks? And my one is like, bro, we should battle again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna rip your fucking head off in LA. And I'll, throw down for a past the Hawks, but I'm basically in his territory, so I'll probably get the VIP treatment just because we're cool now. Me and my one are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not on some like I'm sucking my one's dick to get an opportunity. It's on some like, hey, I like making fun of you for being Afghan. Yeah. And he's like, your favorite basketball player is Blake Griffin, fucking crack Harlow. And I'm like, this is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way that connections are made in the music industry. Is like, God, I just in LA, we'll have to do an interview at the end of the year, bro. Like how LA went.
I'm definitely with it. Yeah.
Like, I can I don't know, bro. I think there's something about being from Oklahoma. I've been exposed to it because I've battled in Ontario, and they picked me. They asked for at the Thop Fest. They asked for somebody to. There's a freestyle battle, and they were like somebody dropped out, and they're like, anybody want to pull up? And I was like, I'll do it. And then fucking freestyled about taking mushrooms and turning into a dead deer, and then telling this guy like, I don't know what you connected to, so I don't want to start no shit. And then I get real close, I'm like, but I got heart, little bitch, And then all of a sudden, that guy the next year, like the host of that, is a battle rap host for a league called I Evolve TV, and he's like, 2 weeks before I blow up, a week or two before I blow up, he's like, bro, I've been looking for you. You're that guy from that freestyle battle. Because I commented on the Thop Fest thing, and the guy that I battled was the DJ for the battle. I battled Rubber Ducky Russ in Ontario,
California. Just making all these connections as the spider web just gets wider, and then next thing you know, you show up and boom, there's 10 people here with 10 opportunities to go do this and go do that.
And who's to say that, because Sauce Me Up GQ had this experience whenever I fucking threw down Set the World on Fucking Fire.
He's in the studio, is like, hey, we need somebody for this song.
Maybe my name comes up in a conversation, and he's like, oh, no, that white boy hard.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't know. So I think you just got to max it out. And a lot of people that are in the music world and are listening and shit, like, they're not ready to max out. Or like they're not actually trying to max out. I think that's where a lot of artists are fucking up. Yeah.
So that goes kind of back to the what's going to set people apart from actually achieving success and not. And at the end of the day, success is different for everybody. And that's kind of, I found myself in a weird spot because, I talked about being in Texas for a little bit, and I decided to move back to Oklahoma because I turned 21 in Dallas. And so that was like kind of just opened up into a whole new world. And at the time, Oklahoma City had very little going for it, and Dallas was already established. And so it was like, I experienced that. My family was here. I kind of wanted to be closer to my family. And I also, moving back, was like, there's so much room for growth in Oklahoma. And how much cooler would it be to come back home and build the city up and create something here versus go somewhere where things are already established and just be kind of another name or another person, something like that. And so that was essentially the reason for coming back here. And I thought, like, I really wanted to build everything up. And I thought it would happen culturally through the music, and then that would cause everything physically to go. And what's funny is, like, where we're at now is like physically building the city up, and the cultural element is kind of taking a little bit slower. And then as I'm kind of stepping back, it's like I feel like this past decade has put me in a really interesting spot to kind of connect dots and put people in the right positions and be one of those people in those positions as well. And now it's the game is like, how do I maneuver here? Because with that maxed out thing too, it's like, to me, that's a sprint, and this is a marathon, and you have to be careful about when you sprint. Like, you can sprint, but you definitely have to be strategic about it, because my goal is 10 years from now still be doing this kind of stuff, 20 years from now have the ability to still be doing this kind of stuff. And my fear, and you shouldn't, I guess at some point maybe shouldn't have any fear at all, but my fear is that, like, I'm gonna gas out, and it's important to have the right pace. And that doesn't mean not to push myself. It doesn't mean like I got a little stomach cramp while running this marathon, but I'm gonna keep pushing. It's not that. It's not I'm gonna walk this marathon. It's still, you're pushing, but like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, but your level of consistency, like, you strike me as a guy that's like at it damn near every day, right? With the music,
for the most part,
juggling other shit.
I try to give myself time off when I can. It's tough, man. I mean, like, I have ebbs and flows. You're talking about the waking up early thing. Like, that was super big. And I've taken 2 vacations this year, which is something I didn't really do in the past. I kind of just decided, I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to make it work financially, but we're going to figure this out. And so in March, I went to Colorado, and prior to that, I was finally waking up early. Like, I was waking up at like 4:45, 5 o'clock, and I'd done that in the past, but it was such a struggle to get back to that for whatever reason. Such a struggle. And finally, before I went on that trip, I was waking up early. And then I went on that trip, kind of got in a different time zone, came back, didn't give myself enough time from that trip into going into work. Stress was high, all these things was just out of whack, and I found myself in a really, really tough spot. And I, for like a month and a half, 2 months, was like not in a good spot. And it wasn't like I was in a bad spot. Like, the thing is now is like a bad spot for me is still way better than it used to be, because I've just elevated in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I can say the same.
To what is possible and what I want to hold myself to was not there at all. And somebody gave me a really good analogy, which was like, because I had all this music, I was going to put out the 2 songs that we've been working on. I was going to put those things out because I put out this project, and it was like, just keep it moving, keep it moving. That was the plan. And I came back and I was done. Like, it was like very little fire. Like, I've had this fire inside for a long time, and it was completely gone. And I started freaking out. But it was like, let me just finish this real quick. The analogy I got was from this guy who's kind of like a blues legend in Oklahoma. No, he is a blues legend in Oklahoma. And he said that sometimes when you're going up a flight of stairs, you reach the landing. And it's your point to turn and reach the next elevation point. And so just because you're not elevating doesn't mean you're not actually still going in the right direction. And you do need these times for rest and reflection. And what was difficult for me was I took that time thinking that time was going to be my time for rest and reflection. And in reality, I needed more. And I kind of was forced upon me just because, like, literally internally just kind of shut down. And it was tough in that period. But then I went on this other trip with like my family and everything recently, and that one was like, I don't know, at some point in that trip was like, it's time to go, man. It's time to go again. And I just put on the gas.
Like, I don't like burning out. I don't like, because take that with a grain of salt when I say, like, you got to max out, which you do, because how the fuck else are you going to know?
Yeah.
You know, and like, I think that aperture.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like, how else are you gonna know where your edge is if you don't test yourself? And like, I've pushed it pretty fucking close, man. Sure. And I've had some, like, at the end when I wrote Chasing Dopamine, and Burning Out. Sunday and Monday, after the last show of the year. So I performed every weekend from June to December, and then that last show hits, this battle rapper ducks, I still spit 10 minutes of bars and just fucking go off to nobody. And then I fucking catch a weird head cold again. There's a theme here. Mm-hmm. My body tells me, you know, when it's time to really chill the fuck out. And like,
forces you to.
Then I write Chasing Dopamine, like, this really sad song.
Hey, your voice is really good. Yeah.
Great job, man. Like, there was this point I was writing these fucking sad songs because I burnt the fuck out, but I still, in my weird Aaron Sawyer way, like, scribed it down and transcribed the burnout, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
that's where I'm at now, is like, write about everything from any vantage point. And also the other thing I'm trying to work on with my songwriting is like, I got this from somebody, but it's like, don't tell me, show me. and it was like describe it in a more way that like you're gonna. I forget what the example was, but it's like not like, you know, we're going through a breakup. It's like, you know, glass is shattered and da da da.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
You know,
like say it without saying it. That's all battle rap is too. It's like, you know, it's like this, like in the line for Fallen, like in a free fall, do you recall? The wind on my face breaks the sound. Do you recall? You would see Saul.
Yeah.
Your aura.
No. Yeah. Yes.
Sawyer, me.
Yeah.
You know, like see Sawyer, see Sawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
vibrate up and down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like little like stuff like that. I'm saying multiple things at once. Just like there was some battle against G.I. Joe where I'm like, you squealing to the pigs, like, please, you know, please forgive me for all the EIO, you know, like stuff like that. I love doing that because I feel like that's a way to combat, like, I mean, that's like, I feel like battle rap's the final frontier for freedom of speech, really, because you can double speak, you know, and like, not being so on the nose about it brings a new level of artistry there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know how to write punchlines. It's just something I put in 10,000 hours. So it's like my songwriting game is crazy because I can dive into any cultural subset, EDM, rock, rap, hip hop.
That's why Kendrick is
like
so good right now, because the same thing, he was doing battle rap for a long time, and like I just watched an hour-long breakdown of this 616 in LA.
Did you watch that video too?
The What's the Dirt?
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah,
Shout out
What's
to that
the Dirt?
Canadian
Yeah.
dude that just fucking dove in on the research.
Insane, bro.
In every line, bro.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, dude, he took 30 minutes on like literally the first like 4 to 8 bars. 30 minutes.
I mean,
but there's
about
still
the
more to go
thinker.
into it.
They're like the new philosophers.
Yeah.
They're not even the new philosophers, but like playing Kirk Franklin. And then Drake's uncle was the bassist for this song. And Kirk, I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
But so I really respect the deep thinkers. And I think that's another thing that sets it apart is like, okay, so somebody that went to pass the aux might blow, but they haven't put the amount of work in songwriting, and now they gotta hire somebody to help them write out with their songs.
Yeah.
Or you know, or you blow, but then you pick the wrong person on your team. You don't have a fucking, you know, a good eye or ear for who needs to. You don't have a good sense of who needs to be around you.
Yep.
Then you fucking
Yes. Which is like, that's just, so I kind of said earlier, I was like, I feel like I took a different approach to this whole game, because I remember Earl Sweatshirt saying earlier on, do you know his story on like how Odd Future broke when he was in Africa at all?
Did his parents send him to a boarding school?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
And Tyler blew up. And so he had some songs blow up with Tyler, and Odd Future's like this massive thing, and he's in a different country, like disconnected from the world, comes back and is like famous essentially, and he's 20 years old, 18, 20 years old, and like trying to find himself. And I just remember him saying like something along the lines of, everybody struggles with finding themselves, now try to do it in front of the world. And I was like, wow, that is.
And I mean, that's something too, like this is why I chose the homestead and wife route. I'm grateful God
good for
gave
you.
me a woman. I wrote it down, the qualities that I wanted in a woman, and a woman that writes songs with me was one of the things that, you know, I prayed for. And I took the homestead and wife route because whenever I was in the clubs, you know, my flip-flops, it made it really, I was like, I remember going to therapy like, Greg, I feel like there's this part of me that's like a yoga instructor and like wants to be enlightened, and then there's this other part of me, no shit, this is my problem, and then there's this other part of me that just like wants like whores and cocaine. Like, I don't even do whores and cocaine, but I just feel like this beast in me growling. I was dating a 40-year-old woman at the time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was living in the Mayo Hotel, bro, at 22.
No shit.
After
Wow.
I graduated, world shuts down, my fucking conspiratorial brain is going off.
This is 2020?
40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
But I'm eating like a king, but I didn't earn it, so I had to come back down to earth.
Yeah.
It was like going to rehab.
Those times are nice, like to where you kind of get a glimpse of like what could be. The Alchemist says that beginner's luck is like the universe showing you what could be, and then persevere, or you have to like persevere to get to that level where it's consistent.
Great
and
point, bro.
I think that that's such a nice takeaway of like, those periods are really helpful because it's like a little glimpse into like what life could be, and then it's like back down to reality. I worked for the post office and I had a version of that happen, and it was like, oh, this is so great. I wasn't about to. You have to 35 years, 40 years at the post office. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so, but it's still like an example of like
crystal ball.
Yeah, the crystal ball there is terrible posture and bitterness. That's what everybody ends up. 90% of the dudes end up like that. But
shout out to the post office though, because whenever the world shut down,
need mail,
fucking
man.
Everybody else, post office stood strong, bro. But do I want to work there?
No, need some changes.
I don't think you see me doing it this lifetime. I've probably been a postman. Probably been a wise postman in past life, bro.
It's great if you want to listen to podcasts all the time. I did. That's what I essentially kind of put myself through a podcast school. Got to a point where I was like, okay, I know enough now to where if I can apply this, I feel like I can make change happen. And so I was like, all right, out. Shout out Joe Rogan. Shout out Gary Vee. Shout out Jordan Peterson. Shout out Theo Vaughn and Russell Brand. We'll stick with those 5.
I'm gonna shout out Paul Chek, the holistic health doctor. And, Owen Benjamin, the comedian that got kicked off of all platforms, bro. And they fucking kicked him out of Babylon. Now he has to have people send him money through his P.O. box. Wow. That's why the post office is dope. They kicked him off of all mobile banking. Wow. Because he said something crazy about the Zionists.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, I just like people who are willing to have conversations that are outside the box. That's like, hey, you can't say that. Why? Why can't I say that? Because I have this point, and I have this point, and I have this point. Like, I'm not saying he's right, but I'm just saying like
so
it's
extra.
interesting.
He's like, look, Weinberg, Steinberg, Spielberg, and then he's like, look at the pedophilia and all, and then like the Zionists that run everything in Hollywood get hella scared of people like that. They're like, are you trying to hurt me? And then, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how I do in LA and Hollywood, because I'm not like here to like spread hate or like, because people will try to typify me, especially in battle rap. That's like an angle I always hear is like, you're a far right extremist, neo-Nazi, proud
play
boy,
the racist card.
but also you're a liberal softie. Either way, it doesn't matter. I fucking hate you. I'm like. You don't know what I am.
Yeah. I want to say something interesting about LA because I heard this recently and I think that it's fascinating because I don't know all the details of it, but what I heard was essentially all of the movies and everything were made in New Jersey, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody like started putting all these rules and laws into play as far as like how they would make them and how like just too many rules and made it like very restricted, and you can only work with these kind of people and you can only do this, and people were like, oh, fuck this, let's get out of here and go do something else. And so they went and created LA and they created Hollywood, and that was this like free world where you can create and do all these things. And now that's kind of becoming this area where there's like all these rules and you have to work with these people and you can't say this and you can't do this.
The politics out there gotta be crazy.
Yeah, but so I say that to say that like at a certain point, if enough people come together and say, hey, we're gonna do this here, that's all it takes. Now California's beautiful and you have like great weather and the beach and all these things too, but like that, the core of what makes Hollywood or made Hollywood was like these creative minds going, hey, we're gonna set up shop here and do this.
And it's just like, you get so much peace and love in your heart, you can't say no to tent cities, and then all of a sudden you get swallowed alive by the motherfucking meth addicts and crackheads that now you're just getting shanked whenever you go, and just getting you, and now like, you become so loving and accepting that you have zero fucking boundaries, and then all of a sudden
you lock your door at night, right?
That's the same way that Marxists, communist regimes end up ruling the world. It's not people like us that fucking die, it's the people that tried to silence people like us that end up going to the gulags because they have no other choice, because they have to choose that slavery, bro. Like they have to choose to donate an organ in the Amazon building, what I mean?
Yeah. I listened to this crazy podcast about this guy that kind of went into the personal life of Karl Marx, and like who he was and what he liked. And he wanted to be a poet, like he wanted to be an artist, but even though he claimed to be an atheist, like a lot of his stuff was like essentially saluting Satan and like very dark. And not only did he want to, like, he essentially said, to end with all that is here, to end with all that is good as well. Like
It's
it was
like,
like,
and you might start out like
was-
just a nice artsy dark poet,
No,
but then
but-
before you know it, you want to destroy the entire.
dude, he was doing some. It was dark shit early and like often, and it's a fascinating. It's like Jordan Peterson and this other guy that like fascinating podcast. They just go into the details of like what they do know about his family life and everything. Like his kids all committed suicide. They did like a suicide pact, killed themselves. Like it's
Who did?
dark
His
shit.
own?
Karl Marx, no, his kids. And like it's
Him and his kids?
No, just his kids. Like later on in life, like they were all like, we're just gonna do it. Like they created a suicide pact and like ended themselves
And you know
together.
what's crazy, bro? He was fighting to be him. That's
He-
where the shadow side of
a
fighting
little
to be
bit.
him.
Yes, yeah, that is a really good point to bring it back to the whole context. Yeah,
Trying
that
to be
is
the guy.
Yeah, well, that's where it's like I just bought a shirt that says "He is Him," and it's like it's about Jesus. It's like.
Shout out.
Yeah, man, because it's crazy because that's where I'm the same way going down this route of like self-improvement, self-betterment, and like I want to be the guy who makes this change. Like the prayer I keep saying is like I want to be a conduit, I want to be a vessel for your love and leadership, because like if it ends up being me, every time I get left to my own devices, like I end up doing dumb shit and things that I shouldn't be doing and hurting myself and others, and it's like every time I'm like in more of a selfless lane, better things happen for me and for everybody else. And it's just like it's so tough, man. I don't know, that's a fascinating realm that we can go down if you like. Or
You know what's got me is like ever since I met my homie who does holistic health detoxes, I realized, oh fuck, I have an organ system. It's not just my back hurts, it's my fucking kidneys are in.
yeah, my lymph nodes or your lymphatic system
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's good. And my spleen, bro, is like, damn, well now I really gotta stop drinking the coffee. I swear to God, to wrap it up eventually. I like long form content. It's
we're
dope.
good. Yeah,
I wanted to know what your interpretation of my Pass the Aux was, because I don't know what it's like from the outside looking in. I'm just on the inside looking out.
Which one, first one or second one?
Damn, good question. I guess both. I don't know.
Because they're both pretty similar. My impression was you came in locked and ready to go, dude. And like, it was, we gotta go. Like we were on a schedule. We got this room at this time, this room at this time, this room at this time. And it was cool. Like like I said, I was in Studio A that first time. I think you started it off. Mitra was like right after you. There's some other people. I was probably like 6th or 7th on that. And honestly, there was a jump too before, not to bring it back to myself, but there was like 3 people that weren't there. They started calling people's names and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm following up Chloe. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
wow, the universe works in mysterious ways. And you might have gotten, harsh feedback, or it might not have gone how you expected it, but it went better than the 3 people that missed.
Yeah, no, and I'm not bitter about it at all. It was just interesting. I think it's fascinating the way that it did go. It's like, it's just interesting. And I want to take, when I look at the people who have longevity and the people who make these stuff last, like I want to take my time. I want to, part of me is like, now, come on. But there's another part that's like, brick by brick is how you build a wall that stands the test of time.
Yeah, damn.
And so my interpretation of you was like, first time very much in the best way possible, taking advantage of the opportunity and being prepared and hungry. And like I told you last time, like the most like pure artist, like even in here just now, like I really respect your ability to just like be. Like you're there and you're just doing this. I get nervous, I start to get in my own ways, and I'm getting better at it now because I haven't been on stage that many times. So I'm getting better at just like being there and just like embracing what it is.
When nobody else is there, you're just fucking in it.
Well, that, and also everybody else is here, and that's fine, but I'm in this with everybody here. Because like at first I couldn't, like when I did that the invite only show, bro, I could not look at the crowd. My eyes, like anytime I try to look down, bro, not happening. Like eyes up, because we're trying to remember these lyrics and we're gonna be on, like we're gonna hit the performance part. Don't worry about like people right now.
I've probably done 300, 400 shows, so like that slowly evolves from, like it comes from being at the Gypsy, being like, fuck, how do I make people pay attention to me? Everyone's attention is lost. So I started going up to people and just staring them down, and like
Hey,
now it's at a point where when I'm performing cap, I'm like walking through the fire. I'll grab someone's shirt, I'll like pick it out before the song starts, and like pick out a single person and just fucking stare them down, and just like there was this sound guy at my wife's show, like she did this her showcase, like all women showcase in like February or March or something, January, I don't know, February I think, and the sound guy goes, "Hey, are you that guy that stared me down while singing Run at that show?" Or you're just like, "You're the guy that stared me down at that one show. Remember I was sitting at that table?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what's up, dude?" Because I'm doing this song Run, and I'm like looking at him. It's like a smaller, it was one of those, we just moved into our new house, and it was like, "Oh yeah, you have a show." And I'm used to like sometimes not a lot of people are there, and I'm like, okay, it's one of those. And then it's fucking packed, and I'm like,
oh, we're doing that, yeah.
I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like, run, don't play dumb, and this dude's just like staring at me. I'm like, you can't run, like you can't escape this right now, and like that I definitely am a fan of like getting your reps in when you're performing, or just getting the reps in. Like
that's like, sorry to cut you off, but like I think that like just in general, when it comes to the whole scheme of this, where I'm at now is like, I was just saying this to the Lyft driver when we were driving here, like every time I get myself in trouble, it's when I'm expecting things from the output. And every time I'm feeling the best version of myself, it's when I'm hyper focused on the input and what I can do and just creating, and then being in the moment of creation, because at the end of the day, like that is truly the gift, and anything that comes from that is a blessing beyond that. And what's cool now is like, I'm getting better at making the songs and then making art from the song itself. And so it's like you get to create with this creation and kind of just going from there. And then life is its own thing too, but it's all reps. It's all reps. It's like, it's practice, man. Like, just like life, like you're never gonna master anything to the point where you shouldn't work on getting better. Like whatever it is, whether it's your relationship, whether it's just your health, whether it's, I mean, you name it, it's like until you die, you should be working on improving it. And that's kind of like, some people can look at that as a depressing thing, but if you look at it as like this challenge of like, I'm still not the best version of myself, I think that's like a more positive outlook on it. And when it comes to this like creating, I think it's just really dangerous when you start to like hyper focus on the attention, because then you'll change the things that you want to create for people. And that, sometimes that's great, but I think it can also just like, then you put it out and nobody likes it and you're like, well, why did I even create this? And it kind of like depresses you in a sense. And I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, it was the reps. But like every time I just do performances now, like I haven't invited my parents to a show yet and they want me to, and I'm like, I'm getting reps and still like, I don't want you to come yet. I still want to practice. I still want to practice. And the way I'm kind of looking at everything in general is just like, it's just another rep. And like, it kind of gets the idea of like, you can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. It's like, if this show goes bad, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do another one. This is just another rep. If this social interaction goes bad, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just another rep, and I'm going to.
I told the lead owner that we started in Tulsa, Castro, I was like, dude, I'm not a real battle rapper till I've had 10 reps. I need 10 reps. Give me 10 reps, 10 plates, bro, and then we'll see where I'm at as a battle rapper. So I'm already taking this long term, whereas most people are so focused on the one battle, and then they don't have any plan for what comes next, you know, and like telling Rebel in the studio, she's new, she had, you know, she was like in an abusive relationship before and had like a lot of trauma with her throat chakra, and like literally had to fight, felt like someone was choking her in the studio. Like, she's another rep, bro. She's another rep, you know, and like all of a sudden those reps start to add up. Like you with beats, I haven't started my reps with them. So it's like you're at this level of mastery that I'm like, haven't even gotten my first.
Well, honestly, I kind of took my foot off the gas there too, and this is where this ship of, it's almost like a drone, where it's not just like binary, it's you have 4 or more propellers all working together to keep this thing afloat. And it's like, it was just beats, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, I need to start writing now, and then your engineering needs to mix, and like you're trying to level this thing and
spiral
contraption,
leveling up the fractal spiral.
But then this is where I would kind of, I don't know your situation, but this is where I find myself now, is like, I can't, with the time that I have, I can't master production, I can't master writing. I can't master my vocals. I can't master, and I don't want to say this is limiting language because I don't believe that. And this sounds like it, and it kind of is. But I think realistically speaking, with the time that I have right now, I'm unable to do everything at an excellent level.
Yeah, I can relate.
And where I'm working on is like creating, like each propeller is a different member of this team, and we're all on the same flight. And
Yeah.
that trip to Texas was very much a learning experience of like, if you are not on the same page, the same word, the same book, like it is not going to work, because creation is a very difficult thing. And so if you can find people who align with your journey, and like I've been very blessed to find a producer that like is family oriented but loves making beats, and he also likes engineering, and so I'm working with him.
Family
like, shout out
oriented.
Frey.
That's the first one. That's the most important.
Yeah, man. Because like when it comes to values and like making this last for a long time, like you talked about you had those two beings fighting within yourself, with the yoga with the flip flops, and then trying to do coke with. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is the duality of man. I forget who it is that they said. The line between good and evil lies not in any other location other than in each man's heart, because we have both of those elements. And the yin and yang of it, the Taoists would say like you're supposed to have one foot in chaos and one foot in order. That way you can kind of, because you have to be somewhat in chaos and somewhat in the unknown, because that's where anything new comes from.
Yeah, the king has to fucking dive into the unknown or the unconscious to bring out the gold or the lead, the gift that you give back to your people on each individual hero's journey.
Yeah.
You're not just on one hero's journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can hand me that backpack if you want, brother. And the little sacky sack. Thank you, man. Give you some space. Bro, yeah, that's, and where I'm at with it too is like, I can relate to everything you're saying, like from feeling the fire dying, and I'm like, I can't fucking burn out right now. Like,
no, well, but it was gone. It wasn't even like burn. It was like it was gone, and I was like, what does this mean? And the Way of the Superior Man talks about like.
Shout out David Diaz.
Bro, yes, those periods of like, if you can excel in those periods of waiting and like wait properly in a sense, like that is an era of you're waiting for your next mission in a sense. I forget what he says in more detail, but essentially it's like that is something to be expected. And where I'm at now, it's like it was a blessing, because I would have kind of beat that into the ground, and now it's like I can take all of that stuff that I was doing and kind of elevate it and continue it in a way that's healthier for everybody, and will, I think, excel better.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta scrape your knee a little bit to realize, like, I've had that with like, dude, I can't keep battling right now. I gotta take some time off, but like now it's like you're saying, I can't be everything to everyone. I'm like media guy, marketing director, battle rapper, league owner now, trying to put out an album, trying to help my wife put it out.
With you doing that, you're gonna have to like find these ways to like fill that creative well, because you're using your creative juices on other people's stuff, and not that like this can't all grow into a bigger thing, and like, oh, you get this idea sparked from there and it all just builds on top of each other. It's not that, but it's like from a high quality output thing, like your pace of the marathon within each day is going to be like, wake up, do your grounding, maybe get a little exercise in, have breakfast, okay, focused, deep work, all right, go for a walk, get some sunlight.
Dude, and I tested today. I'm in this personal development group called Phoenix Rising. Dude let me in for free in exchange for like social media videos.
Sweet, yeah.
Like I'll help him out.
So that's bartering, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like the power of having a skill that you can apply. And that's why I don't throw shade on the commercial real estate company I work for, because this dude invested in me to become a great video editor. And like now I can apply this for other people, And like the what was I talking about? The
skills. Your daily routine.
Oh, yeah, like that is the only way to kind of mitigate that when it comes to, like, I either have to let a few things drop. Oh, dude, no, the personal development course. So he goes through, and I've been to Tony Robbins seminars. My dad, I grew up on Tony Robbins.
Sick.
Like my dad would just reading me Rich Dad, Poor Dad at the age of 6. Wow. He was like listening. He was priming me with Tony Robbins self-help CDs when I'm 8 years old on the way to soccer practice.
That's awesome.
He's a good dad, and now I'm here to take what he's done and fucking run with it. And like, it talked about the 6 human needs, like the the need for certainty, the need for variety, the need for love and connection.
It's like
the need
Maslow's
for
hierarchy?
growth and contribution. Yeah, but
Okay,
Tony
but a different
Robbins,
version?
T.
Okay.
Rob's
Okay.
twist. And, you know, you had to go through the wheel of life and say where you're at out of 10 on each one. And, you know, significant other, 10 out of 10. Health, 8 out of 10. Artistry, 10 out of 10. Personal development, 9 out of 10. It said fun and leisure. Bro, 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at that, and, you know, career, I put 6 out of 10 because there's the corporate career that I'm trying to create and the actual artistry. When it's all here, it's 8, 9, 10, but now I need to balance, now I need to, you know, sell on this client or close this client and get the invoice proper, and he's dragging his feet. Now I'm dealing with logistics of the commercial real estate shit, and it's like, I'm just a corporate slut.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited for that. Do you know when that's coming out?
This month.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's
I
happening
like
fast.
it.
Because, like, you know what I did? Like, because my boy Tyler Reynolds, who engineered Halo, it was one of those where I was like, you know, we've been working so long, and, like, he had the same kind of thing where it's like, you could tell his heart wasn't in it like it used to be. You just couldn't keep up the same volume. And I'm like, dude, let's do songs you're passionate about. I'll be good. I can find some situations. We'll be okay. Like, I'm going to play you a few tracks. You tell me which one you want to do.
Awesome.
You know, so I played on one called Burning Out. Like, I must slow down. I think I'm burning out. Like, wrote that the day after the burnout. And then I played him Corporate Slut. He's like, dude, I hear it in a movie.
Yeah.
And he was the dude I was going to release in 2022. I was going to release a single every week for the whole year. But he's like, what's up with that rock album? I'm like, man, you know, what about these songs? And he's like, let's do the rock album.
Nice.
You know, so he's one of those where he's like, an ear I trust because he's so good at what he does. He's like, that's going to be in a movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
It's a corporate type, you know, surely something will come along to make sure the publishing and the placement is good. But, like, how do I balance that with when I got a flight to, okay, so I'm dropping Corporate Slut. Maybe that'll be July 26th. Well, I got a flight to New Jersey July 27th. So now I got to gather the media for Corporate Slut, promote properly. Then I got to battle August 17th against a Tulsa OG who is fucking, I can't play not to lose because he would fucking mop the floor. And then I got, you know, all this stuff, but it's also like I asked for it. I asked for this. I asked to be fucking him. And I don't know what it is about me that people are so attracted to. I think a lot of it is the yoga and the karma that I've elicited, the breath work, the countless breaths of fire, and the days of meditation and vipassana, and like all this reading and studying and metaphysics, that and the health, that plays a major role. I went viral when I was in a 2-week fruit detox. The system was cleansed out. Then
the honey butter thing?
Yeah.
You know what?
Then everything opened up.
Wow.
There's 8 people there.
No, yeah.
So you just don't. Like, you got to take care of your fucking self first, and then, you know, from there. But like, I don't know what it is about me that people are attracted to, but like, maybe it is that ability to just be embodied, to just be in my own world with other people, and take them into my
frees
world.
people up to be in. Well, it frees people up. I feel like you're really good at being yourself, and that frees people up to be themselves as well.
Yeah. That's a great summary. Like, that really is what it is. They see me being myself so hard. They're like, oh, well, I'm not screaming on the floor crying, so I really have a lot of space to express myself now, you know? Yeah. I'm just like, shut the fucking fuck. I'm a corporate slut. You know, and everyone's like, look at that guy, you know? And a lot of people, and what I love about that too is it silences the noise, because you can't say I didn't fucking go hard. You know, you can say a lot of things. I mean, dude, I should just make a compilation of battle rap bars that people are going to bring up in the future, and just make a, you know, this is everything I've said to get canceled. Compilation.
Yeah. Like a modern Eminem, like, you can't. Yeah,
like this dude's, you know, telling me I can't say the word retard, and then I'm like, no, I got a special needs friend, bro. It's like, be ashamed if I screen recorded this and put it on Facebook, and I'm like, I swear to God, dude, my retarded friend Charlie would be like, man, fuck that retard, you know? And then I'm in a battle, and I'm like, you think I shouldn't say the word retard? You are retarded. Like, all that stuff. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that right now, but, like, it's on the internet forever.
It's hard, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, yoga going on. Of course, the yoga class goes on right whenever we're in.
Right.
Man, it's perfect.
Do you want to try to go? Well,
Let's record some content, man.
Yeah,
Like, I want
let's
to
do
do
that.
something for Fallen,
Yeah.
and then for I Don't Lose, I'm gonna toss up a video with my wife, having me on the camera, and I'm gonna like just tag you in a personal creation of my own.
for which one?
I Don't Lose.
Okay.
Let's do one for Fallen. Like, I think we'd go to that park in a free fall. The miracle. You
Yeah.
know, like you
Yeah.
film me from the grass looking up.
Yeah, I'm with
And
it.
hey, man, podcast out. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching.
Point it out.